Day 97, verses 14 and 15, where the mind comes to rest. Namaste and welcome to Gita 360. Over the last few verses, the Gita has described how a seeker should prepare for meditation. It is spoken about solitude, posture, discipline, and creating the right environment for practice. Today, the Gita moves from the physical posture to the internal state, stating the mental attitude required during practice and the ultimate outcome of consistent discipline. With a serene mind, fearless, firm in the vow of celibacy, holding the mind in check, the yogi should sit with the mind focused on me, having me as the ultimate goal. A quiet room and a straight spine are of no use if the mind is still burning with anxiety, fear, or unbridled desires. The verse highlights Vigata Viha, or freedom from fear, and Brahmacharya, or self-control, because fear and uncontrolled impulses are the two forces that distract our attention. Meditation is not merely the act of sitting quietly. It is the gradual training of the mind to rest in something higher than its usual stream of distractions and preoccupations, a single higher anchor. Hence, Krishna tells that the meditator must fix their thoughts on him. In simpler terms, this means redirecting the mind away from its ordinary obsessions and anchoring it to the divine. You cannot quiet the mind by leaving it completely empty. You quiet it by replacing its chaotic thoughts with a singular focus. Thus, constantly aligning the mind with me, the yogi of disciplined mind attains the peace that culminates in nirvana, or absolute liberation, resting in me. The Gita then explains the result of this practice. When a person practices in this way consistently, sada, the mind gradually becomes steadier and more disciplined. The outcome of a disciplined mind, niyata manasaha, is not an emotional high or a temporary state of relaxation. It is a profound, unshakable peace that is described as nirvana paramam, a peace and an internal stability that does not depend on external validation or favorable circumstances because it is anchored directly in the unchanging self. Throughout the Gita, we have repeatedly returned to the same theme. The restless mind looks for fulfillment in one thing after another. The disciplined mind begins to discover a stability that is not dependent on changing circumstances. Meditation becomes one of the means through which this stability is cultivated. Most of us think of meditation as something we do for a few minutes each day. We set aside some quiet time, sit down, and hope the mind will become calm. Yet many of us have experienced how difficult that can be. We sit quietly, but the mind continues its activity. Conversations from earlier in the day return. Future worries demand attention. Old disappointments resurface. Even when the body becomes still, the mind often carries the momentum of everything that came before. This is why the Gita places such importance on fearlessness and self-control before speaking about peace. The mind we bring into meditation is not separate from the mind we cultivate throughout the day. If fear, anxiety, and endless desire dominate our attention for most of our waking hours, they will accompany us into our moments of silence. Meditation is not the process of temporarily escaping these patterns. It is an opportunity to see them more clearly and gradually loosen their hold. Perhaps this is why the Gita presents peace as the result of consistent inner discipline rather than a technique. When we repeatedly bring the mind back from its fears, desires, and distractions, the internal noise begins to quieten. The peace Krishna describes is not something we create during meditation. It is what begins to reveal itself when the mind is no longer constantly pulled in different directions. Thought of the day. The mind does not become different the moment we sit down to meditate. Pause for a moment today and reflect. Am I cultivating during the day the very state of mind I hope to experience in moments of quiet? Thank you for joining me on Gita 360. May we recognize that inner peace requires daily, consistent alignment. May we work towards choosing an anchor that keeps us steady.